The Dutch manufacturer DAF produced a range of small cars in the 1950s up until the 1970s. Known for their unique transmission system called the Variomatic, these cars became distinctive models in Europe for their innovative engineering and straightforward practical design. A few videos back we talked about the DAF 33, 44 and the last DAF ever made, the 77 concept. In this video we are going to be talking about the other models this unique manufacturer made. Starting off with the first car, the DAF 600 was DAF's first production car and the first in the world to feature a fully automatic transmission in a small car. It debuted at the Amsterdam Motor Show in 1958 and went into production a year after that in 1959. The DAF 600 was relatively compact, lightweight and a simple design, making it ideal for city driving. It was well received in the Netherlands but struggled to find popularity in larger European markets due to its limited power and niche appeal. It was powered by a 590cc two-cylinder air-cooled engine producing 22 horsepower. It had a top speed of around 90 km an hour and was not built for speed but was aimed at easy urban commuting. The average fuel consumption of this car was between 6.5 to 7 liters per 100 kilometers, a lot lower than the average small family car fuel consumption, as this was between 7 liters to 10 liters per 100 kilometers in 1959. Between 1959 and 1963, approximately 30,000 units were made of the DAF 600. The 600's competitors were cars like the Citroën 2CV and the Fiat 500. Eventually, the DAF 600 was succeeded by the DAF 750 in 1961, and the DAF 750 was introduced as an evolution of this DAF 600 with an upgraded engine and slightly better performance. The DAF 750 was also called the Daffodil, but it was also called 750 between 1961 and 1963, as the Daffodil name was used between 1961 and 1967. The DAF 750 or Daffodil was popular for its practicality and ease of use. Its simple rounded body design and better engine output helped it maintain competitiveness, especially within the Netherlands. However, outside the country, it still faced challenges in establishing a firm market due to its unusual transmission system. This 750 was powered by a 746cc two-cylinder engine with 26 horsepower, improving on the power of the DAF 600 with 4 horsepower. Its increased power also allowed a slightly higher top speed of around 100 km an hour. The average fuel consumption was even lower than in the 600, as the average was 6 liters to 6.5 liters per 100 kilometers, which still was a lot lower than the average small family car fuel consumption in 1961, as this was between 7 to 9 liters per 100 kilometers. In the 6 years that the DAF 750 was made, around 80,000 units were manufactured before it was replaced by the DAF 33 in 1967. Its main rivals were other affordable European cars such as the Mini, Renault 4 and Fiat 600. The multiple versions of the 750 or Daffodil were also called the 30, 31 and 32, so the name DAF 33 wasn't that strange as it was simply a successor. The DAF 33, of which we talked about in the last video, was eventually succeeded by the DAF 44 in 1974, after more than 130,000 units made between 1967 and 1974. Its successor, the DAF 44, also was succeeded, this time being by the DAF 46 in 1974, after more than 160,000 units were made between the same years as the DAF 33. Eventually, DAF increased the engine size yet again for the 46, this time being increased from 750cc in the 750 to 844cc in the 46. The 844cc engine was also used in the DAF 44, but since we talked about this car in the last video, I'll just say this as the engine increase. Moving on to the DAF 46, as this DAF 46 was the last original car developed by DAF before the company's passenger car division was taken over by Volvo in 1975. It represented an evolution of the DAF 44, incorporating some notable changes and simplifications to maintain its relevance in the economy car market. The 46 was a compact family car that continued DAF's legacy of using the Variomatic Continuously Variable Transmission (CVT). Though it was only produced for a few years between 1974 and 1976, the DAF 46 holds a unique place in automotive history as the final DAF branded passenger car model. The most significant change was the Variomatic transmission system, which was simplified by removing one of the twin drive belts to improve reliability and reduce maintenance needs. Although this resulted in slightly lower performance, it was intended to appeal to customers looking for practical, easy-to-drive cars for in the city and suburban use. The DAF 46 was available in both a two-door sedan and a station wagon, offering practical options for family needing cargo space. The DAF 46 was powered by the same 844cc engine as the DAF 44, although this time producing 34 horsepower. The top speed was around 120 km an hour, slightly lower than the DAF 44 due to the single belt Variomatic system. The fuel consumption also was a bit higher, but still was quite economical for the time, as the average fuel consumption was 7.5 to 8.5 liters per 100 kilometers, a little lower than the average small car fuel consumption in 1974, as this was between 9 to 12 liters per 100 kilometers. Besides these more fuel-efficient family cars, you also had more powerful small family cars with engines above 1 liter. The DAF 55 was the first example of these bigger engines. The DAF 55 represented a significant advancement for DAF. This model included a new, more powerful engine sourced from Renault, giving the car better performance and appeal beyond the Dutch market. The DAF 55 was much more capable compared to the previous models, allowing DAF to expand into the performance market and even rally racing thanks to the marathon version. It was much bigger than the previous models, as it now was listed as a small car in the C segment and was a bit bigger than the average car DAF had already made by around 20 centimeters, and it overall performed better than ever. Engine-wise, it was powered by a 1.1 or a 1108cc 4-cylinder engine by Renault, producing 50 horsepower. And this gave the car a top speed of 135 km an hour, marking it as the first DAF with enough power to handle highway speeds comfortably. The DAF 55 was available in multiple models as a sedan, a station wagon and even a coupe model. Although a notable version was the 55 Marathon, which was said before, and this car was aimed at rally enthusiasts and featured enhanced power up to 60 horsepower and a different suspension. As this car's average fuel consumption was a bit higher, as this was between 8 liters to 9 liters per 100 kilometers, and was still a little lower than the average fuel consumption of cars in that segment, as this was still 9 to 12 liters per 100 kilometers in 1967. During its 5-year production run up until 1972, around 164,000 units were produced, making it one of DAF's most successful models. It competed with the Volkswagen Beetle, Fiat 850 and Renault 8. And eventually the DAF 66 would eventually replace the DAF 55, continuing its lineage with more refined features and an upgraded design. The DAF 66 was actually, with the same 46, the last car DAF made before Volvo took over DAF's passenger car operations in 1975. This model featured even more significant improvements in design and mechanical quality, with DAF aiming to keep up with increasing standards in the European market. The engine options were even bigger now, as a 1.1 liter as the Renault engine with 47 horsepower was available, but also a more powerful version, still being called the DAF Marathon, this time being a 1289cc engine with 57 up until 63 horsepower, giving the car an even higher top speed of 140 km an hour, which was the best performing DAF model ever made. The average fuel consumption was also the same at around 8 to 9 liters per 100 kilometers, but still was lower than the average market car. The DAF 66 also came with significantly safety improvements such as disc brakes at the front and an improved suspension system. It was designed to appeal to a broader European audience and had enough power to compete in international markets. Approximately 146,000 units were produced up until 1975, when Volvo took over DAF's passenger car production. The model continued under Volvo as the Volvo 66 with minor updates. The 66's competitors included the Ford Escort, Renault 12 and Opel Kadett. And eventually, after Volvo's acquisition, it was, as said before, succeeded by the Volvo 66. Heading back a bit to the DAF 46 and the 44 and the 66 as well, it is stated that this is the last car made by DAF, and it is, but it was succeeded by the Volvo 66, a car that initially was called the DAF 66. This car was in production between 1972 and 1976 by DAF and 1975 and 1980 by Volvo, and was still designed by DAF, just produced by Volvo at some point in 1975 because of Volvo's takeover. Why was this exact car the successor of these three models? This was because of the DAF brand ceasing to exist. So initially all models would eventually lead to the latest design of DAF, which came to the market, the DAF 66. That later became the Volvo 66 and later the 300 series, to which the DAF 77 eventually also led. The 66 also used the same 1.1 and 1.3 liter used in the DAF 66. Thanks for watching this video. If you would like to see more, don't forget to like and subscribe for more, and also check out this playlist with many interesting videos, and I'll see you in the next video.